Hello, my book besties. Welcome back to the channel. Where have I been? I don't know. It's been like a month since I made a long form video. I know I said that I was going to be doing more in April, but April ended up being like crazy. Like we're not gonna get into it, okay? But I am so excited because I just finished Under Your Scars and I need someone to talk about. So here we are. We are actually going to talk about this book today. So if you have not read this book yet and you don't want me to spoil this book, maybe this video is not for you. But if you want to hang out and you have read the book, or honestly you don't really give a fuck if I spoil it or not, take a seat because I have so much freaking talk about. Okay, so this book was actually bought for me by my friend Michelle for Christmas. She sent this to me. So like, I hope this shows a lot about how Michelle loves me. She wants me to cry so bad. It's like an ongoing joke because I've been gifted 2 books in the past year by like 2 of my friends. And Michelle sent me this for Christmas. And then my friend Carrie gave me The Nightingale for my birthday. And I haven't read The Nightingale yet. Like I was trying to read it this month, but we didn't get around to it because book club's theme of the month was Miserable May. We were gonna cry together, but like I also didn't want us to cry too much, so I like threw in like popular books too to like break it up. So we did Lights Out, and now we're gonna do Insatiable, which is actually a crying book too, but I think that's just gonna end up being like for June itself. We'll read like the entire Edge of Darkness trilogy together. If you haven't read it, it's by Lee Rivers. It starts with Insatiable. It is so good. Like every single time somebody DMs me and they're like, Jess, we want a book rec, and I'm like, okay, you like dark romance, like have you read the Edge of Darkness trilogy? And they're like, no, I haven't. And I'm like, honey, like please go read it. Best of luck on your endeavors. But so we chose Under Your Scars as one of the books that we read this week. I did the audiobook, so that one is gonna have Joe Arden, and I don't know the girl's name that does it. And my thing with Joe Arden is I think he is very good at taking the audiobook from just a narration, like just kind of like talking through the book, to actually voice acting. And my issue with Joe is he a lot of times does dark romance, and like for me sometimes he's a little scary. Like he did Little Stranger by Lee Rivers as well, and if you haven't read that one, that is like very dark and a lot more I don't know, like scary. There's spiders and stuff like that. And I remember listening to it and I'm like, oh my god, you're scaring me. I also did That Sick Love with Joe Arden, and he like scared me in that one too. I don't know, maybe I'm just a baby bitch. Okay, I get scared pretty easily, but you can't deny that he has a talent of like bringing the emotion to the book, right? And so this book in general is about it kind of kicks off where this girl, her name's Elena, and she's walking out of her like apartment, and she says that she lives in Meridian City in New Jersey, which is a very like high crime area where some of the city is extremely wealthy and the rest is extremely poor. So like the gap between wealth is huge in this city. And so obviously she lives in the very poor area of Meridian City with very high crime rate. And so she walks out of her apartment and all of a sudden she notices 3 guys are noticing her, and she starts to run. And or I'm sorry, she didn't walk out of her apartment, she's walking to her apartment. So she has the choice, I'm a block away from my apartment. Do I want to run to my apartment and they now know where I live, or do I want to try to go a different way? Which, that has to be such a scary decision to have to make, like split decision like that. So she chooses to go down an alley, and it turns out it's like a dead end alley. And so the 3 guys tried to gape her. And so she's fighting them off, but obviously like that's impossible, right? And so she kind of gets to a point where she nearly accepts like what's about to happen when she hears pop, 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 3 gunshots go off. And the city has a well-known serial killer called the Silencer who wears a mask across his face, and she looks up to see that he's there and he has just saved her. And so he tells her like, go home, I'll make sure nobody else follows you. And so she goes home, but now the Silencer has an addiction with her, is obsessed with her, right? He calls her his angel, and you'll learn later in the book like why he calls her the angel. And you know, he like shows up and he like makes sure that the next time she leaves her apartment, he's there, slumped in a corner, he's been stabbed in the leg, and he's like, you need to bring me in, you need to help me like before I bleed out, blah blah blah. And so now she has a stalker. She has a stalker that is the serial killer of this city. Well, she tells the stalker, hey, like, I work for this place. And the stalker's like, why would you tell me where you work? But like, he had her key back. So he's like, do you work for Reeves Enterprises? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, why would you tell anybody where you work? And so I'm like laughing, and she's like, whatever. And like, somehow she ends up telling him that her boss is a fucking dick. And so he's like, interesting, you know? And the silencer, right, which is the stalker, knows her boss's name. It was like, oh, it's Neil something. And she's like, how do you know that? And he's like, oh, like, I just have connections. Well, the next day at work, Christian Reeves, so the CEO of Reeves Enterprises or whatever it's called, walks up and like they collide, they run into each other. And he's like, he calls her Elena, and like he like says he knows a lot about her. And long story short, Christian comes in and fires Neil. There's like Neil tries to say that Elena's sleeping with Christian, and Christian like throws him on the table, and like very like dark, like very heavy. And so like right off the bat, us as the reader know they're the same guy, Christian Reeves and the silencer. And I think the author tries to like, throughout the book, tries to like leave little Easter eggs that maybe it's not him. But you kind of like put in together that like it's the same guy almost having like a psychotic break between the two. Like he identifies as one and the other, and each versions of himself hate the other, right? So the silencer hates Christian Reeves, and Christian Reeves hates the silencer. But to me, the one thing is like, how does Elena not know it's him? Like, he covers his face, and he has like a voice changer, and then he has contacts that change the color of his eyes. But I don't know, I feel like once you start dating somebody, like, how do you not know their little like quirks to see? But maybe it's just really dark whenever the silencer shows up. But the book itself, like as I'm reading part one, so the book's split into like 3 different parts, and as I was reading part one, I was thoroughly enjoying the book, but like, let me give you honest feedback, right? So I was struggling a little bit. I felt like Elena was very whiny at the beginning, like very much like, oh, why would he ever want me? Oh, like, sweet me, like, why would he want me? He's so rich, he could have any girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, just take his money, okay? Like, I struggle a little bit with the FMCs. Like, don't get me wrong, like, everybody wants validation in the beginning. So like a few times of being like, are you sure? Like, why me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would ask the question too, like, why the heck would you want me? But it was like continuous, like no matter how much Christian like was just like love bombing Elena, because you can't describe it as anything else. Like, Christian love bombed the fuck out of her. Like, she was so like, oh, why me? Why me? And I'm like, girl, I would actually be questioning, why the fuck are you love bombing me so hard? Like, not that I don't deserve it, but like, what's going on here? Like, what is wrong with you that you're so adamant that I have to be around you all the time and I have to do all this? But it's dark romance, right? Like, we don't ask questions in dark romance. But that was a little like things to me, like, how do you not know it's him? Like, they both know the same amount of information. Christian is so obsessed with you and you're dating, but he does not care that you have a stalker. Not worried at all. He doesn't offer to help you, doesn't offer to save you. That doesn't strike you as odd. Like, a guy calls you a whore and he throws him, like, breaks his arm, throws him into the desk. But you say you have a stalker that's a serial killer and you don't like ever put it together. So that was a little bit of like, come on, girl. You know what I mean? But then we get to like part 2. And you start to see, oh, I didn't like, okay, yeah. So then you get to part 2 and like, you start to see like all your like questions that you were having come together. Like, I think in part 1, you learned that Christian Reeves' parents were murdered when he was 6. I think you learned that. Okay, yes, because Christian tells Elena, like, my parents died. And so Elena tells Christian that her dad, so her dad's name is Elliot, her dad used to live in Meridian City, but now he lives in Texas, and she grew up in Texas. And she grew up and then wanted to come back to Meridian City to go to law school. So that's why she's there, but her dad really didn't want her to come back because when he was living in Meridian City, he had a wife and twin girls who got brutally murdered by someone. And then, you know, he was in deep depression. He finally met Elena's mom. They had Elena, and then they had her brother. So he's very protective, obviously, of his family because he already lost his first family. And so, like, Elena sharing with Christian that, like, my dad's family died in 1989. And then Christian sharing that his parents died in 1989. And so, like, even though the characters themselves never question why, like the years lined up like that, us as the reader, I would hope, like are going, okay, there's something going on there. And that's when I stopped and talked to my husband and I was like, what do you think happened? And he's like, I think like his dad and Elliot, like whatever, had something going on. And then I think that Christian's dad killed Elliot's family and then Elliot killed Christian's parents, right? And so if you read the book, this is basically what unfolds. But we learn more that Christian's dad had like an obsession with Elliot's wife. And so Elliot was out on tour because he was, is that what you call that? When he's in the army, so he's in a career. I wouldn't call it on tour. What do you call that? I don't know. He was stationed in Korea. So Elliot wasn't around. His family got killed by Christian's parents. And then Elliot came back and he killed Christian's parents. And he almost killed Christian, but he didn't. And so now Christian and Elena met when Elena obviously needed saving. Christian calls Elena his angel because Christian was actually going to kill himself that night. And Elena screaming saved him. So long story short, very, very dark. And then while you get to the end of the book, I won't spoil it. But actually I will. I'm sorry. But you get to the end of the book and Elena's dad ends up finding out that Christian is the serial killer. So like at the beginning of, or like mid-book, Christian and Elliot meet and Elliot's like, I know who you are. And he like shares information with Christian to say, hey, listen, your dad killed my family. Christian's like, I can't believe it. Like my dad was a great guy. And it's like, no, here's the proof. And I killed your parents and I almost killed you. And Elliot's like, but here's the thing, you can't do anything about it because if you do anything about it, Elena's gonna hate you. And then Christian's like, and you can't do anything about me being here in her life because then she's gonna hate you. So now you have the two guys that are both like, have killed people in the past that hate each other. And Christian is trying to like make it work for Elena's sake, but Elliot is not. Elliot is like so like pissed off that Elena is dating Christian. Like he hates that so freaking much because he cannot let go of the fact that Christian is a Reeves and his dad like killed his whole family. So like the whole story kind of goes like back and forth of like what's gonna happen. There's like also like another subplot going on where like Elena is working for a nightclub and the nightclub is known for sex trafficking and raping women. And so Christian tries to get her out of it, but then she is stuck there. And then there's a point where Elena finds out Christian is the serial killer. She's going to tell the cops. There's a car crash and Elena gets taken. It's kind of giving a little bit of the same vibes as like Haunting Adeline, like at the end of Haunting Adeline, into Hunting Adeline. And so she gets taken, but she has something on her anklet, I think, that she clicks in the silencer. So Christian Reeves will come and save her. And so he shows up and she goes through a lot of things. Like it's dark. And a lot of it happens in front of Christian, but he can't get to her because she's in a bulletproof like glass case. And so he eventually breaks it and he gets rid of Neil, takes him off the earth, you know, brutally, but the other guy escapes. And so there's like a little bit of other subplot of, is Elena gonna get taken again? And if so, is it Frank, the other guy that she worked with at the club? And then she does get taken again later in the book, but like it ends up being her dad that's trying to lure Christian out so he can Christian, because he already tried to kill Christian but did not succeed. And that was heartbreaking when I thought that was real. And long story short, it gets to a point where like Elena doesn't know her dad is the one like impersonating the silencer and had kidnapped her. And so then she tries to like escape and thinks she killed the silencer, the impersonator, right? And it's really her dad. She doesn't know this. And she runs away. And then the dad comes and he's about to take Elena again, or he's trying to kill Christian at this point. And comes into the house dressed as the silencer, the impersonator. And he walks in on, Elliot walks in on his, Bear, I'm getting excited. This is a big moment. Go see daddy. Walks in and his wife's in the kitchen, Elliot's wife. So Elena's mom's in the kitchen making pancakes. And he like is like, where's Christian? Like, and Bethany, the mom's like, oh my God, like, no, like, I don't know where she is. And he like has her right throat and he was like, I need to save our baby. And that's when Bethany realizes that this impersonator is her husband, and she's like, please don't do this, please don't do this. And she admits that she already knew that Christian was the silencer, but here's the thing, she only learned that Christian was the silencer, like the real serial killer, like 12 hours earlier. So Elliot has almost this mental break where he realizes, like, he thinks in his heart that his wife chose Christian, aka Reeves, over him. And so he kind of like breaks down and ends up killing his wife, like with his bare hands. And then in walks Christian, and he's like, oh my gosh, Bethany, and tries to save her. And Elliot, the dad, shoots Christian a couple times. And then Elena walks in and grabs the gun and tries to shoot the silencer, like the impersonator, and she does, like right in the stomach. And as he falls, the face mask comes off, and she realizes it's her dad. And so she's like, oh my God, Dad, what do I do? Christian, help me. And Christian's like, I'm not helping you. Your dad's psycho. And so, like, obviously the dad's about to die. And Elena says, I don't know what you're trying to do. And he said, you asked me to save you. And she goes, I never needed saving from Christian. And he's like, you do need saving from Christian. And he looks at Christian, looks him in the eyes, and says, like, I realize, he says something really quick to Elena. He says something to the tune of, like, I realized that, like, I can never save you from him. All I can do is let you go. And looks at Christian and says, and this is where I, like, was like, what the actual fuck? I did not see this coming. I saw the rest coming, but I did not see this coming. He said, how's this for misery? And he grabs his gun and shoots Elena in the head. Like, just shoots his own daughter. Then Christian hops up and kills Elena's dad. And Christian and Elena had adopted a 4-year-old little girl. So the little girl walked down, and everybody was in the kitchen because she wanted pancakes. That's the whole reason why it started. And she walks down and she goes, Daddy, like, are we gonna have pancakes? And, like, obviously, like, she sees, like, what's happening. And Christian says, yes, turn around and count to 100 and we'll have pancakes. And she's like, I don't know how to count to 100. And he said, it's okay, just count as high as you can. And she turns around, and he then commits suicide. And that's the end of the book. Like, that's pretty much the end of the book. You see, like, them get all buried together from the eyes of like Christian's, like, adopted godfather. He's like an 80-year-old Irishman that lives in the house. And absolutely heartbreaking, like, absolutely heartbreaking. This book, I knew as I went into it that it wasn't going to be a happily ever after, but I did not see it coming. Like, I figured Christian was going to die. So when Christian, it was, I think chapter 49, got shot and was in the hospital, he was in a coma for 8 days, and they had to choose to pull the plug, and she chose to pull the plug. And right when they went to do it, Christian woke up and said, you were really going to let me go without giving me a goodbye kiss? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, well, maybe it's not a not happily ever after. I noticed the book is 1 of 2. And I said, maybe it just doesn't end happy on this book. Maybe it will end happy on the next book. Like, maybe this one just gets, like, Haunting Adeline, right? Like, at the end of Hunting Adeline, it's a happily ever after, but Haunting Adeline is not. So I was holding out hope. But that did not happen, obviously. Are you hungry? Okay, I'll get you food in a second. I have to feed my dog. He's very hungry. The thing is, it just made me so upset that Elliot was so concerned about not losing his family again to a Reeves that he spiraled so hard and noticed he was losing his family to a Reeves again. And so rather than re-seeing a Reeves destroy his family, he chose to destroy his family on his own. Like, he made the choice to just destroy his family on his own. And it's like, think about, like, all the subtle, like, all the times that probably happens over and over and over again in real life, probably, hopefully not this extreme, that people are so concerned about something happening again that they self-sabotage over and over and over and over again. Like, and then the amount of pure depression and trauma that was happening through this book of, like, something, like, what you talk about, the butterfly effect, right? Like Christian's dad liked Elena, or like Elliot's ex-wife, and that's all that happened, but he couldn't get over the fact that she would never be with him, and it led to generation after generation of pure torment and trauma. Like, You can also, after this one, there's a novella called Delilah, which follows Caroline, which is the little girl they adopted, and they were only together for 4 months. It follows her like 17 years later. And it's almost like, it doesn't help, okay? Like reading it will still make you cry. But it almost helps in the sense of like, you get to see her go from like living her life where she felt like this all happened because of me, like wanting pancakes, like none of them should have been there, which is not fair. That's not fair to think, like as a survivor of someone that committed suicide, it's never fair to think like this is because of you. But like watching her kind of overcome that, and like seeing that Christian set her up for life, and like watching her find love again, and watching her talk to Christian and Elena and realize like how much that like even the world, because after the book's over, the world finds out that Christian Reeves is like net worth of $500 billion, like richest man in the world, like best man in the world. They find out he's a serial killer, right? So like his name is completely tarnished, but like she understands the love that he had was unconventional. It is super toxic, but she knew that he loves her so like so fully, but she was feeling like, why would you not stay for me? Like, why couldn't you love me like that, Dad, to stay for me? But she kind of comes to terms with all of that, and she realizes that like he was nothing without her. Like he wasn't even gonna stay here. Like he was gonna commit suicide like that day he met Elena, and that's why that's his angel. But like I couldn't even fathom any of it. Like I couldn't fathom being Elliot and choosing that route, like just to be right, like just to be right. Like that made me so upset. But the book itself, like though there were times that kind of annoyed me because I'm like, what? Like why would you do this? I had a lot of highlights in here that were just so beautifully written. Like the way Christian described his love to Elena, like from just like thinking of writing, like the author's writing. I saw some people that said they didn't like the book or the writing or whatever. Like I had a lot of highlights on just like the way he like proclaimed his love out loud was so beautifully written. Like it was poetry to me. So I really love that. Obviously, I don't know how you read a book like this and then read the author's note afterwards and like have no feeling towards that. Like I think that's hard. Like whether you like the book or not, if I saw people, it would be like, oh, I DNF'd at 17%. It's like, I think that's a hard thing to like judge a book that you didn't make it all the way through, because I can't look at this book and not be sad. Like I cannot look at this book and not have emotion or have feeling. Especially knowing the author's book, like note at the end, she said that she was actually in the middle of writing part 3. Like I said, it was a 3-part book. And a lot of the dark stuff happens. Like there's dark throughout it. Like she gets taken, I think in part 2, but like a lot of the suicide stuff and the self-harm happens or is talked about in part 3. And the author's note says that, while she was writing, I'm good, we're good. While she was writing part 3, her dad committed suicide. And so like understanding that she wrote it almost like she was Caroline, like watching her family like choose not to be here and then turn around and watched or had her write Delilah, almost from her thought process. Like she talked about how it was 17 years later and she's still like, her therapist said like it would get easier, and she's been saying that since she was 4, and she says, I think my therapist is full of shit because it doesn't. But still watching her like live her life and try to like make good out of her life and like show the world who her father saw her to be was such like a beautiful like ending to the story. I'm not a huge fan of books that don't have happily ever afters, but I understand like the reasoning behind it, like because not everything in life has a happily ever after. So I think books like that, though I want to read them very few and far between, they hit the hardest, right? Like they hit the hardest, and you're stuck thinking like, not only am I in love with fictional characters that don't exist, like my fictional characters don't exist at all anymore. And so, like what a beautiful feeling to go through that, like in a story. And like I hope and pray I never have to go through that in real life, but to have at least some kind of insight onto maybe somebody that did go through that, you know. So anyway, needless to say, this was a 5-star read for me. The audiobook was absolutely fantastic. Joe Arden, when he was like voice acting the scene, we were talking about it yesterday in my book club, of when he, like I said, like he has almost like a psychotic break in the sense that he is the silencer and he is Christian Reeves, but they hate each other. They are not the same. And so Christian Reeves at one point hurts Elena's feelings, and the silencer comes in and Elena says, please punch Christian Reeves in the face. And he goes home and he just like destroys a mirror and was like, how dare you hurt her, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't deserve her. And like hearing the acting behind that, because he adds not just the words, but he adds the sounds, like the weird laughter, that like the crying, the like heavy breath that goes along with it, that somebody would be experiencing in that moment. I highly recommend. So if you are going to check out this book, after everything I just told you about it, highly recommend the audiobook. I'm hoping most of the people that stayed have already read the audio or read the book itself. So if you're ever planning on a reread and haven't checked out the audiobook, like I highly recommend. But yeah, I just needed to talk to somebody about this like so fully that would understand, because like there was just so little moments. Like for instance, like Elena telling her dad that Christian was a serial killer. She didn't mean to. Like it was something to the tune of Elliot came in and said, I know now why Christian calls you his angel. And the reason Christian told him was because he was going to commit suicide that night that Elena got attacked. But for some reason, Elena says, oh my gosh, okay, that makes more sense now. You were afraid I was going to be his next victim. And in that moment, I was like, you dummy. Like, he has no idea that he's a serial killer. Like, why would you say that? And I don't know, like, why would she say that? Because that's what unraveled everything. Like, Elliot, her dad, already hated him, but, like, not that fully. And, like, I think that's when it was, like, something flipped in his switch, or in his brain to be like, I need to save her. And Elliot was dying. He was dying of cancer. We learned that very late. So, like, I think also he had, like, his tumor was going on. Like, he knew he was dying. He had nothing to live for except for just to save his daughter. But to save her by killing her is just nuts to me. So anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it more, but I needed to talk to somebody. So for the few of you that stayed for this video, thank you, thank you. I am actually starting an arc next. It's called Fierce Protector, which is the newest book by Laura Bennett that will drop May 29th. If you have not checked out any of her books, you have to check out Broken Princess and Brutal Queen. I have already talked about these so much on this channel. Very good mafia style why choose. They will also make you cry. It is a duet. The duet is out. It ends on a cliffhanger, so like just be prepared. You're gonna want both. But once you read those, there is a character. Her name's Doc M, and then Stefano is the bodyguard, and it's about them. So I'm gonna start that this week. I also got the arc for Beautiful Venom, but I keep wanting to say Venom, but I don't know why me and Ryan are struggling with it. He's like, this is Venom is fourth wing. Venom is the name of the book, but it's Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. It's her first in like the hockey series that she's starting. So that book drops May 27th. So I'm going to read both of those this week. So I will also make YouTube videos about them, spoiler free, of course. Maybe, we'll see. But regardless, if it's not, I will obviously let you know at the beginning, the way I did with this one. But I will keep you posted on how I feel about the books, and we will go from there. But I hope everyone has the best day ever, and I'll see you next time.